Am I the a-hole for accidentally seeing my roommate's girlfriend naked? Am I the a-hole for getting mad at my mom for not telling me about a job offer? Update. Am I the a-hole for blowing up on my dad's GF for telling me to clean my bedroom? Am I the a-hole for accidentally seeing my roommate's girlfriend naked? Alright, let me give you guys some context before jumping into the situation. I'm a medical student, and to make ends meet, I share an apartment with my roommate, whom I'll be calling Adam from her on 4th, not his real name. He's also a student in the same university, but in different fields. He's coursing civil engineer. That's being said, we never had problems before in the 3 years we've been sharing the apartment. In truth, I spend most of my time in the school hospital from our university and only really go home to sleep or spend the weekend. I believe this is the reason we don't have many issues. Anyhow, Adam has been in a relationship with his girlfriend for the past 2 years. I barely exchange more than a few words with her since we don't really see each other that often. But she seems like a nice girl. Regardless, now to the situation at hand. This weekend, I had the option of accompanying a professor of mine and his residents in their night shift in the ER. As you would assume, that's a golden opportunity to learn, and there was absolutely no way I could pass that up. Thus, I made some arrangements and was able to be on their shift. This shift started at midnight and ended at noon on the next day. Friday/Saturday and Sunday/Monday. As you would expect, that was definitely different from my usual schedule, which is 8 to 8 due to classes and some extra internships. This past Monday, I was exhausted after shadowing them and helping them out for their whole shift, and just wanted to get home and collapse on my bed. As I was just getting home, I thought I would eat something before sleeping. That's when I went to the kitchen, to be surprised with the image of Adam's girlfriend butt naked drinking something. As you would imagine, both of us were quite startled, and I immediately turned around and went to the living room apologizing like crazy. There was no way for me to know she was there. It was an accident. I didn't hear anything, only the door for his room closing up after she ran there. Well, it's a delicate situation, and I understand the embarrassment. Regardless, I was tired and even forgot to eat. Just decided to go to bed. I slept like a brick, but when I woke up, I noticed many calls and messages from Adam. I read through them, and they were essentially all asking where I was or if I was awake. I left my room to talk to him after that, thinking something could have happened, hoping he was alright. Well, here's the thing. He wasn't looking for me because of something he needed my help with. Rather, to scream and shout at me that I was an a-hole for not telling him I was going to be home during the day, that I was an a-hole for coming that time, and that I had embarrassed his girlfriend. Now I understand that the girl felt bad, but hey, this is my house, right? Regardless, I wanted to know, am I the a-hole here?
NTA. Nothing is your fault at all. She was naked in a common area of the house, unless it's agreed upon, up front, and everyone is consenting to that. It's complete bullshit on their part. Like, Adam's GF just shouldn't be walking around naked in someone else's place. Adam is then having a childlike tantrum meltdown over an issue he and his GF caused. He allowed her to walk around naked. If he didn't want people seeing her in the kitchen naked, all he had to do was tell her to put on a dressing gown, bathrobe or something outside of his bedroom. Now you saw her naked. You're adults. No big deal. Brush it off and laugh about it later like adults. Finally, WTF is up with him expecting you to report to him? Fo here with that noise. You pay rent and live there, you have all the rights he does. You are not beholden to him. He's not your parent or your landlord or your caretaker. To put that in perspective, ask him to report to you on all his comings and goings. Do you think he'll do it? Do you think he'll protest? The simplest answer is the most obvious. Adam's GF is not on the LEASE, I assume, so either she doesn't come around anymore or she keep her naked ass in his room. 'Cause all the drama is started by them alone. You just happen to be. Yup. My SO and I were pretty open with our roommate, but then her new GF started wandering around that summer with button shirt open, no bra. Or roomie would chit-chat with me topless in the bathroom and next start taking over the kitchen for date night. I'm a girl who's fine undressing in front of another girl, but when you don't hang out for weeks and then get cornered or run into a naked person, anyone would be awkward, and this is just platonic space. The sexual and hygiene part of nudity is just not okay outside the bedroom in a shared apartment. Either everyone is gone or you play a risky game. NTA. And your roommate has some serious insecurity and possession issues. It's not like you walked into their bedroom when she was alone. Or even accidentally walked into a common bathroom without knocking. She was walking around naked in the kitchen when she doesn't even live there. It's your apartment, you should not have to check in and out with your roommate. And as other people have mentioned, what she did was sexual harassment. Society at large still seems to be under the impression that only certain genders can commit certain crimes or that certain genders should just get a pass when it comes to certain crimes. But the reality is everyone is the same under the eyes of the law. And if a guy went to his girlfriend's apartment and walked around naked in the kitchen and her roommate was home, it would be the guy walking around naked exposing himself to the roommate that would be in the wrong, not the roommate. And blame guilt should not be assigned based on what gender the people involved are. NTA. You live there and don't have to ask for permission or announce in advance if you want to be in the rooms that you share. IMO, she should apologize for walking around the apartment naked without the permission of all residents. It's very rude. Something similar happened to me. My roommate once had a date in our apartment when I wasn't there and they wanted to have fun in the shower together. In the heat of the moment they forgot to lock. I was coming from a party and I really needed to go to the bathroom. So I run to the bathroom, pull the door open, and was already halfway in the bathroom when I suddenly noticed them both. The three of us laughed about it the next morning and it's still a running gag to remind ourselves to lock the bathroom properly.
Am I the a-hole for getting mad at my mom for not telling me about a job offer? So I applied for my dream job, a summer job for next year, a few weeks ago. Did the interview and it actually went pretty well. The only catch is that the job is in Australia, which is a pretty far distance away. My parents don't want me to move away because they're scared they're never going to see me again. I'm also the glue that holds the family together, so when I leave the family might struggle. After not hearing back from them, I assumed I didn't get the job, and while disappointed, I decided to move on and focus on college. I called my dad a couple of days ago and we got chatting about jobs and I told him how I moved on from the job, to which he responded, "But you got the job, didn't you?" I sat there in confused silence for a moment before he proceeded to tell me that they had called last week and my mom had spoken to them. She then apparently told my dad I had decided not to take the job. I didn't say anything to my dad and I hung up a few minutes later to call my mom. Very angrily, I confronted her and she admitted that she turned down the offer on my behalf because she didn't want me to leave. She then said that I couldn't have cared that much about the job because I've gotten over not getting it. I completely blew up at her and we haven't spoken since. My dad's asked me to reach out to her as he thinks it's time to forgive her, but I'm still really angry. Am I the a-hole?
OP's mother is another level of toxic. Her and her husband are relying on OP to keep the family together. When did it become OP's job to be the glue? And why is it all up to OP to keep people together? Why did they place that all on OP's shoulders? Both parents are toxic, but OP's mother is more. Like, they're purposefully sabotaging their own daughter in order to make her stay, even though they both know that she doesn't want to stay. And from the OP's post and comment history, she's not happy where she is, but do they care? No, their own happiness matters more, and OP needs to suck it up and make things work for them. OP, you really should call or email the company and explain what happened and express how honored you are to have received the offer and see if they'd still be willing to give you a chance. Then, I think you need to talk to one or both your parents because your family dynamic isn't normal and it isn't fair of them to do things to keep you home with them. You deserve to go out and see the world and experience life in your own way, and your parents have absolutely no right to keep you from it. NTA. NTA. Even if your mother didn't want you to go, it doesn't give her the right to decline the offer on your behalf. What she did was extremely selfish and toxic. and being the glue that is holding the family together is very toxic and manipulative. That is basically forcing you to always be around, never leave, in order for your family not to fall apart. Your sole purpose shouldn't be to keep your family together. You should be able to leave whenever you want without the guilty conscience of you breaking up your family. BC. If it does happen, it's not your fault whatsoever. In conclusion, your mom should be apologizing to you, not you to her. Your dad shouldn't try and force you to forgive her. He should be telling his wife that what she did was wrong and that she should be apologizing to you for ruining your chance at your dream job. I'm the end. All I can say is to try and call the job back and tell them what happened, and hopefully they can give you the position that you applied for, or another position if the other one is already filled. NTA and the company shouldn't have accepted the rejection coming from someone else. You are, I assume, an adult, so they really shouldn't have disclosed any information to someone else. How did your mother access your phone anyway? I'm guessing you don't live with them based on you calling to talk to your dad. Just call the company up and say you hadn't heard from them about the job. You understand if you weren't selected, but you're excited about the opportunity, and you wanted to check in and thank them for being considered. They may not have filled the role yet, or may find another opportunity for you. Either way, I don't think this is something I could forgive my mum for. She completely betrayed you and wants to control your life. I'd probably go no or low contact after something like this. It's not your job to hold the family together. You don't owe your parents anything. If you want to go overseas, go for it, it's your life. What they want isn't relevant. Not sure why you think you have the right to destroy my future just because, but because you did this, do not expect me to ever involve you in any aspect of my life going forward. If I have children, they will not ever know anything about you, and I will have no issue telling anyone what you did. If anyone comes to me, I will have no issue telling them exactly what happened. You destroyed my opportunities for your own selfish reasons, so I will have no issue ruining your image amongst your friends for the same reasons. NTA, I'd be furious for a very, very long time if anyone, especially my own family, sabotaged my future. Your mother owes you the biggest apology. A well-written email to the contact for the company you interviewed with a brief but honest explanation and declaration that you are still interested if the position is still available, may open that door back up for you, but if not, it might simply make you feel a little better about the whole thing, just to be able to explain it. Good luck. OP edited for typos.
Update. Am I the a-hole for blowing up on my dad's GF for telling me to clean my bedroom? It has almost been a month since I made this post and I wanted to post an update. So, some of you said that my dad's GF wants me out of the house. That is not true, but it did make me think about why she seemed to think I didn't help enough. Well, I thought I did. I noticed that every time I offer to do something, she always says no. If I say, "Can I help you with that?" the answer is no. If I say, "Can I buy that for you?" also no. It doesn't matter what it is, she always refuses. So after a couple of days, I asked her if she was hurt by my words. It was awkward and tense to bring it up, but I knew it was needed. She said yes. Because I was only telling you to do your room and you made me feel bad. I explained, this time much more calmly, that the problem wasn't saying it, only that I wish she would have waited a few minutes. Then, I told her that if she always refuses my help, I'll end up assuming she just doesn't want me to. Her answer was, "That's just how I am. I say no because I feel bad. I would rather you just do it because you want to help." I explained that me asking is because I want to help, but from now on, I won't ask, I'll just do it. I also noticed that most of her free time ends up being for cooking all the meals. I used to do some of the cooking as well, but since she spent some time without a job, she did all the cooking again. So I offered her to do the cooking so she can have a bit more time to herself. After she agreed, I told her that what I asked from her is to take it slow and give me some space after I come back from visiting my mom. She seemed to be happy with everything I said. She said, "I know I'm not your mom, but I try to treat you like my daughter." I told her that I know, that I appreciate it, and that I love her. We hugged. It's been a few weeks since that, and I think we're at a good point. I have been doing most of the housework, and I think she sees that I really want to help. Instead, one day, something bad happened to my mom, and Dad's GF was very understanding and let me slack off a bit when I wasn't well. I think we both understand each other a bit better. I get the feeling they always say I'm the dramatic one, but I'm the only one that actually starts the difficult conversations. I talked about everything with my therapist, and she says I handled everything very well and that she's very happy with my progress in general. I didn't have the chance to talk with my dad about this yet, but I wanted to know his take on this, so maybe I'll still end up doing it. I hope I can improve our relationships as we go on. I wanted to thank everyone who took the time to reply. Many of you said kind, caring words, and I really appreciate it.
Good job on the conversation. Just one little thing to watch out for. Then, I told her that if she always refuses my help, I'll end up assuming she just doesn't want me to. Her answer was that's just how I am. I say no because I feel bad. I would rather you just do it because you want to help. I explained that me asking is because I want to help, but from now on I won't ask, I'll just do it. That whole I don't want to have to ask thing is a common issue that comes up. It can't always be incumbent on the other person to read someone's mind. It certainly is not okay to be judged by something you have no knowledge of either. At some point, that's an emotional maturity thing that the individual needs to address on their own too. If you are asking and they dance around it, for whatever reason, you can be understanding and sympathetic, but at some point, people also need to learn that they are responsible for voicing their thoughts and needs and wants. Just wanted to flag it as it's so ingrained in most societies that it's just an okay thing to do that I feel people often gloss over it and jump into, I'll take care of that for you mode. I'm glad you two were able to understand each other better in the end. Congratulations. I wonder also if she'd been aware before the full extent of how stressful spending time with your mom is. She probably doesn't have anywhere near your depth of experience navigating that minefield, and whatever time she spent with you mom may or may not have been representative of what your own visits are like. For instance, maybe your mom is willing to confide more details of conspiracies with you as a trusted daughter than she is with someone who is only on the periphery of her life. Maybe now that GF can begin to see that mother-child relationship through your eyes, it will help her understand things about her own relationship with you and lend some insights that ultimately bring you two closer together. Best wishes to all of you in these complicated circumstances. Needing 30 minutes to get home, change, shove some food down, and decompress is totally normal. Feeling too guilty to let others help is also very normal, especially in women of an older generation, because you do not have a guest do chores full stop, and no self-respecting wife ever lets another woman do her housework, which is utter BS, but even so, it is generationally perpetuated conditioning that can come through very strongly without actually being aware of it. That may be the root of her discomfort there. It's really good you two were able to talk and sort things out in a civilized and polite way. That's how adults work in the world. You are well on your way to a good shot at life. Unrelated question, is your mom's illness to the point where she's a danger to herself? I only ask because my mom has had bipolar schizophrenia since I was 12, 21F now, and it was to the point where she almost got herself killed more than once. Depending on where you live you can try to have her involuntarily committed, especially if she's to the point where she is a danger to others. It's pretty common for people with schizophrenia to refuse help. It took my sister and I going North Carolina with her for over 2 years for our mom to finally get help. Edit. You might also want to consider going North Carolina with her if all else fails. It's a lot of work to try to maintain a relationship with someone in that condition and might not be worth it if she isn't wanting to help herself.